Hello, welcome to the channel. I am Mehmet. Welcome back to our sleep journey. Tonight, I want to take you to a place where time has not only stopped but has been slowly reclaimed by the earth itself. Before we begin, I want to send my deepest respects to everyone joining us from all corners of the globe. Whether you are listening from a bustling city or a quiet room, I hope this story brings you the stillness you need. Now, find your most comfortable position, close your eyes, and let the world outside your window fade away. The air is so heavy with moisture that you can almost taste the salt and the crushed ivy on your tongue. As you stand on a cracked stone path, you feel a strange vibration beneath your boots. Not a machine, but the low, rhythmic thrum of the ocean hitting the cliffs far below. Thrum, thrum. It feels like the island itself has a slow, cold heartbeat. You look up at a three-story house. From your perspective, the windows look like dark, hollow eyes, half hidden behind a thick curtain of waxy green leaves. You wonder if, 30 years ago, a mother stood at that window watching for a fishing boat that never came back. But then, your mind drifts upward, soaring above the rooftops like a lonely seagull. From up there, the village doesn't look like a village anymore. It looks like a giant, green carpet that has been draped over the mountainside. The jagged edges of the roofs have been softened by moss. The sharp corners of the streets have been rounded by ferns. From this height, the humans who once lived here seem like a brief, flickering dream that the island is finally forgetting. You step forward. Your foot makes a soft, squelching sound on the moss-covered stairs. Step. Pause. Breathe. The silence here isn't empty, it's crowded. It's crowded with the ghosts of sounds. The clinking of porcelain bowls. The laughter of children running to the village school. The heavy sigh of a fisherman removing his boots. All those sounds are still here, trapped under the layers of ivy, suffocating slowly in the damp air. You reach a small wooden gate. It's held shut not by a lock, but by a thick vine that has wrapped itself around the latch 5 or 6 times, like a green hand refusing to let go. You don't open it. You don't want to disturb the peace of whatever is left inside. As you stand there, a light rain begins to fall. It's not a storm, it's a tired, lazy drizzle. Each drop hits a broad leaf with a distinct tap, tap, tap. It's the sound of 1,000 tiny clocks all ticking at different speeds. The world is winding down. The village is dissolving. You feel a chill crawl up your spine, not from fear, but from the sheer weight of the loneliness. It's a cold, ancient feeling. But then, you remember the warmth of your own bed. You feel the soft texture of your blanket against your skin. You are a ghost in Houtouwan, but you are a warm, safe ghost. The mist is now so thick that you can no longer see the ocean. You are wrapped in a cocoon of gray and green. There is no tomorrow here. There is no yesterday. There is only the drip of the rain, the smell of wet stone, and the slow, unstoppable growth of the vines. Close your eyes now. Imagine the ivy slowly climbing up the walls of your room, not to trap you, but to shield you from the noise of the outside world. Let the green silence take over. Everything is still. Everything is forgotten. As you leave the decaying post office, the path narrows until the stone walls of the houses on either side are almost touching your shoulders. Here, the ivy doesn't just cover the walls, it hangs from the roof lines like long, heavy tresses of hair. You have to brush them aside to move forward. They feel cool and waxy against your skin, leaving a faint scent of crushed clover and old, wet earth. From high above, looking down into this alley, you look like a shadow moving through a green tunnel. From this perspective, the village looks like it's swallowing you whole, not with teeth, but with a slow, vegetative patience. The houses lean in toward each other, their wooden beams groaning under the weight of decades of moisture. Creak, crack, a slow, rhythmic protest of timber against the gravity of the mountain. You reach a small, circular courtyard. In the center, there is an old stone well. Its wooden bucket has long since disintegrated into a pile of black mulch at the bottom, but the iron chain still hangs there, swinging almost imperceptibly in the damp draft. Clink, clink, a tiny, metallic heartbeat in the middle of the green void. You sit on the edge of the well. The stone is freezing, the kind of cold that feels like it's been soaking up the sea mist for a century. You look down into the dark circle of the well, and for a moment, the world feels incredibly small. There is no internet here, no deadlines, no people, just the moss, the iron chain, and the sound of your own slow, steady breathing. Across the courtyard, a door stands slightly ajar, not because someone left it that way, but because a massive tree root has pushed its way up through the floorboards, forcing the frame to warp and crack. Inside that room, you can see the remains of a dinner table. A single ceramic cup sits there, perfectly upright, filled to the brim with rainwater that has dripped from the ceiling for weeks. It's an unsettling sight, a ghost of a life that was interrupted. But as you watch that cup, you realize it is the most stable thing in the world. It doesn't need to go anywhere. It just sits, collecting the sky, one drop at a time. Drip, plink, you feel a wave of heaviness in your limbs. The mountain is pulling at you. The silence of the well is inviting you to just stop. To let the moss grow over your boots. To let the fog wrap around your shoulders like a heavy, wet coat. But you are safe. You are tucked into the corners of your bed, watching this scene from behind the safety of your eyelids. The cold stone of the well is 1,000 miles away, but the quiet, the deep, heavy, green quiet, is right there with you. A bird, a dark silhouette against the gray sky, lands on the roof above you. It doesn't sing, it just ruffles its feathers and looks out toward the hidden ocean. It's waiting for something. The whole island is waiting. The mist starts to swirl in the courtyard now, obscuring the door, the well, and the green hair of the houses. You can no longer see your own hands. You are just a pulse in the fog. What lies beyond that warped door? What is hidden in the basement of the house with the iron chain? The fog has now become so thick that the walls of the houses are no longer stone and ivy. They are ghosts of gray light. You stand in that small courtyard, your hand still resting on the freezing, mossy rim of the well. The iron chain gives one last, tiny clink and then falls silent, as if the air itself has become too heavy to let it move. You decide to step toward that warped door, the one pushed open by the ancient tree root. As you cross the threshold, the temperature drops. Inside, the house doesn't smell like a home anymore. It smells like a cave, mineral, wet, and ancient. From high above, looking down through the holes in the rotting roof, you look like a shadow entering a ribcage. The wooden beams of the ceiling are the bones, and the thick, hanging vines are the veins, still pumping the dampness of the East China Sea into the heart of the room. You see a staircase. It's made of dark wood, now turned almost black by decades of moisture. Each step is a precarious ledge of soft, crumbling timber and vibrant green moss. You begin to climb, creak. The sound is long and drawn out, echoing through the empty shell of the house. It's a tired sound. The wood isn't screaming, it's sighing. You reach the second floor and find a bedroom. There is a bed frame here, made of rusted iron. No mattress remains, only a network of vines that have woven themselves across the metal slats, creating a natural, living net. A pillow of moss has formed where a head once rested. You imagine lying down there, letting the ivy slowly wrap around your arms and legs, pinning you gently to the history of this island. It's a heavy, suffocating thought, but here in your own bed, it feels like the ultimate protection. You walk to the window. There is no glass, only a frame draped in green curtains of hanging ferns. You look out, but you can't see the ground anymore. The fog has risen so high that the house feels like it's floating in a white void. You are in a castle in the clouds, built of stone and silence. Suddenly, you hear a sound. Thud, thud, thud. It's rhythmic, slow. It's coming from the attic above you. Is it a loose shutter hitting the wall? Or is it the heavy saturated fruit of a vine finally falling to the floorboards? Or perhaps, the house is just settling deeper into the mud of the hillside. From your divine perspective, looking down at the entire island, you see that the fog is starting to pulse. It moves in and out with the tide of the ocean. The entire village of Houtouwan is breathing. One giant, green, wet breath every 10 minutes. You feel that rhythm in your own chest now. In and out. The attic door above you is slightly ajar. A single, dark strand of ivy hangs out of the darkness of the opening, swaying in a draft you cannot feel. You wonder what is stored up there. Old fishing nets? Trunkfuls of winter clothes that were never packed? Or just more of this infinite, heavy silence? The air in the room is getting colder. A single drop of water falls from a leaf above the bed and hits the iron frame. Tink. The sound is so sharp in the silence that it feels like a spark of light. You are standing at the base of the attic ladder now. The wood is slick. The darkness above is absolute. The village is waiting. The island is watching. And the fog is beginning to seep through the floorboards, erasing your feet, then your knees, then your heart. What is in the attic, Mehmet? What has been growing in the dark, where even the mist can't reach? The house groans again, a deep, bass note that vibrates in your teeth. We are going up, but not yet, not quite yet. Stay in the gray, stay in the green. The ladder is slick with a thin layer of black slime that smells like the deep sea and ancient bark. You reach up and touch the first rung and it feels colder than the stone well outside. Your fingers sink into a moss so thick it feels like fur. From above looking down the ladder is a spine and you are a small beetle climbing toward a skull of gray wood and shadows. The attic door is a heavy slab of cedar warped and swollen by 40 years of rain, it doesn't swing open, it screams a long, low grating sound that echoes down through the empty house into the streets and out to the hidden ocean. You pull yourself up and the air changes instantly. It is bone dry and smells of old incense and bitter herbs. There is no mist here, only a darkness so thick you can feel it on your skin like a heavy blanket. In the center of the room sits a single wooden trunk bound in rusted iron, and it is the only thing in the entire village that the ivy hasn't touched. The green vines stop exactly 1 inch from its base, as if they are afraid to crawl any closer. From your divine perspective, the house is a glowing green heart, but this attic is a black hole in its center, beating with a different rhythm than the tide. You crawl toward the trunk on your knees, the floorboards snapping like dry bone under your weight. Crack. Snap. The sound is too loud in this silence, it feels like a violation. You reach for the iron latch and your heart is a drum in your ears. Thump thump. Thump thump. The latch is warm, not cold, but burning with a strange dull heat. You lift the lid just an inch and a sliver of light that shouldn't exist spills out, painting a jagged yellow line across your face. Inside there are no clothes, no gold, no letters. There is a single glass jar filled with a thick silver liquid that is swirling as if it's alive, and at the bottom of the jar a small brass key is turning slowly all by itself. Clink. Clink, clink. Each turn of the key makes the house tremble just a little bit, and outside in the fog the thousands of houses in Houtouwan begin to groan in unison, as if they are all connected to this one jar in this one attic. You look into the silver liquid and you see a reflection, but it isn't your face, it is the face of the village 100 years ago, before the vines, before the silence. The streets are full of people and they are all looking up toward this window, toward you. Their eyes are wide and they are waiting for you to turn the key one more time. But if you turn it, does the green disappear, or do you become part of the ivy forever? The wind outside stops completely, the ocean stops hitting the cliffs, the entire island is holding its breath, and the silver liquid starts to glow brighter, filling the attic with a pale ghostly light that feels like a heavy weight on your chest. You are safe in your bed, Mehmet. The blanket is your armor, but the key in the jar is still turning. Clink, clink, and the door behind you just clicked shut. What happens if the key stops turning? What is waiting in the corner of the attic where the light doesn't reach?